Hey everyone, Walter Crosby with Helix Sales Development, your host of Sales and Cigars. Today my guest is Matt Anderson, and we're going to talk about marketing. We're going to talk specifically about offers, the offers that we should be making to our prospects. We're going to talk about the mistakes. There's 4 big mistakes that business owners typically make with offers, and we're going to talk about a formula that we should be using to think about how we connect those offers with our prospects and get our customers to buy. So go grab a cocktail, grab a cigar, strap in for another exciting episode of Sales and Cigars. Matt, welcome to Sales and Cigars, return visit. Appreciate you taking some more time.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Walter. I've been enjoying these conversations.
Well, hopefully we're selling some books. Hopefully we're educating the audience on what they could do a little better with their marketing. Yeah,
it's been fun. Certainly getting good feedback from the people who've purchased a copy, and that's always gratifying to hear that people are, not just learning stuff, but also enjoying the read.
Yeah, it's like I said before, it's a manual. It's not a romantic novel. It's not one of those esoteric marketing books that are like, what the hell is he saying? It's like, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. There it is.
Yeah. We should probably mention what we're talking about so we don't lose people.
Yeah. See, my copy has got a bunch of little tabs sticking out of it. It's how I read books these days. I put little sticky notes in sections that I can go back to easily. So,
yeah, that's helpful. But yeah, the book is First Fix Your Message, and I just wrote it as a way to make it easier to share what I do and hopefully help people out before they're ready for services to really understand how to think about their marketing and be able to address their marketing problems, in kind of a different way by starting with your message and then working backwards from there.
So show the cover again. And so I got a question, and I always think of this question like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and I can't call you. The bird. Is there some subliminal message with the bird that your little marketing brain is working here? Or
no, there's no subliminal message. I needed a cover and was looking at different stock art images, and this one really struck me as having the right combination of whimsy and kind of tone. It's a book about an important subject, but it's not super serious. So I wanted to kind of strike that balance.
All right, I just want to clear that up. It's not a subliminal message in the marketing piece. The bird is just a bird.
No, sometimes in marketing or in anything else, especially with images, you're thinking about the emotional impact as much as any explicit.
And for me, a cigar is often just a cigar.
Yeah. Yes, and then for Bill Clinton,
not so much. Yeah. All right. Let's go to chapter 8 in the book, and I think it's an important topic. I think it's a topic that as business owners and entrepreneurs, it's really vital that we get offers right. And it's a really powerful chapter. It's not one of the super long chapters,
nope.
But it really you cut right to the chase. So let's do that. Let's talk about those big mistakes that you've seen throughout your career, and that you sort of document right out of the gate there. So let's
yeah, sure thing. So, chapter 8 is right in the middle of part 2, which is where we kind of walk through step by step the kind of order of problems that people tend to have in marketing. Right. So, the chapters before that talk about making sure that your marketing is doing the things that it needs to do to grab attention. Which is, to speak to the underlying psychology of the customer. And then make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to be persuasive. in terms of making your pitch. And then the natural thing that follows, and this is where a lot of people stumble, is in not having a very good offer or any offer at all. And so you can kind of think about the mistakes that people make in terms of their offers in kind of 3 or 4 broad categories. The first one being just not making an offer at all. I can't tell you how many times over the last 20 years I've had clients come to me. And
that's mind-boggling, right? That we don't, even a shitty offer is better than no offer, right? In most cases.
You would sure think so. But I can tell you that there's just numerous times throughout the last nearly 25 years that I've been in marketing where a client has come to me and they're frustrated and they're wondering why their marketing isn't working. And I look at their ads and I look at their web pages and they never ask for the sale. And it's mind-boggling to think about it, but whether it's because you're too close to it and it's so obvious to you what you're selling that you don't realize.
I think that's a big part of it. We're often, as a business owner, too close to our own stuff, and we just like, well, this is obvious. We don't even think about it. So
yeah, the curse of knowledge is a real thing, and we've talked about it a lot in these episodes. But the reason why is because it shows up in so many different places.
And this is another one.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, this is another curse of knowledge is it shows up in the offer. So no offer, big problem. Another one, if I recall correctly, is a low value offer. How does that have a negative effect on a prospect's desire to do business with you?
Yeah, so if we get over that hurdle of not making an offer, then probably the next most common problem that I see is that when they do make an offer, it's they don't do anything to position the value of the offer. Or they phrase the offer in kind of an offhanded way. So it's what you might think of as a kind of a weak or tepid offer. The challenge there is if you're going to ask for the sale, really ask for the sale, right? And this is where I think that many business owners, especially when they're starting out in marketing, are almost embarrassed to ask for the sale. They don't want to be too salesy. They don't want to be manipulative. And all of those are good instincts. But at the same time, you don't want those instincts to cause you to formulate your offer in such a way that it's not attractive to the customers who need it most. I don't know if that's tracking with your experience with the clients that you've been serving.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it's they don't put the right words in it. They don't tie it back to like what you talk about in the first part of the book, right? We're not really connecting with the prospect, but more often than not, it's convoluted, and we got to sift through a bunch of words to figure out what it is, what's in this for me as a prospect. And I think that's that definitely resonates with what I've seen. And I know I've made that mistake. I've gone about it's like, is this somebody going to pay this? And if I think about it, wow, what am I actually helping them save? What am I helping them solve? And it's always 10 times. What I'm asking for, they get a 10 times return. And
right.
if I don't offer that, then they shouldn't buy in my mind. So I'm giving great value. And I lacked the confidence years ago that I didn't have it. So I think that resonates with the audience.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we got on here, we were talking a little bit about the subject of offers. And you mentioned that you had just recently reread Alex Hormozi's book on offers. He's a direct marketer who kind of rocketed to fame in he had a company that provided advertising services to gyms and was doing, I think, at its peak, about $30 million a year in subscription sales to gyms to provide their marketing services. And I think one of the big takeaways from that book is he put this really into he put the value of an offer into a formula that can, I think, provide a really nice framework to kind of think through step by step whether your offer is high value or not. And the starting point for the value of an offer is the expected value that the customer can expect to receive from purchasing your product or service. And so expected value is the value of the dream outcome you deliver multiplied by the likelihood that they're going to achieve it. So if I have a product that can make you $1 million a year, right, that would be really a valuable product. But it's not that valuable if that product is a lottery and your chances of getting that $1 million are 1 in 10 million.
Right.
Right. Then the value exceeds the cost of the lottery ticket, which is, why they say lotteries are a tax on people who are bad at math.
Right.
But if you think about that, it gives you a starting place for creating a valuable offer. You want to make sure that the outcome you're delivering to your customers is something that they really care about and that you can attach a high amount of value to. And then you need to make sure that your offer includes all the components that give your customer confidence that they're going to succeed with that offer. Now, sometimes that's as simple as listing out the features that will give the customer confidence that the product will do what you want it to do. So if you take this microphone, for example, it has a variety of features that are supposed to deliver good sound, from the way it captures the bass to the whatever they call the pattern of recording, the shape of the sound and how it excludes background noise. And
the directionalness.
So you see how those features then give you confidence that it's going to deliver the outcome that you want, which is, premium quality sound, better than what you're going to get off of a laptop. Other times it means bundling other services along with your offer. I see this often in my clients that do B2B software, SaaS products. Often when they start to bundle in a training program, an implementation consulting, and a configuration step that you might get for free if you sign up for a 2-year contract or a 3-year contract. Well, then all of a sudden the doubts or objections that the potential customer has begin to drop off because they're like, well, okay, I was worried about actually implementing this. Everything sounds good until you sign on the dotted line and you get going. And, they're going to walk me through the implementation process. And they've got this great onboarding thing. And then they're going to train my employees to use it so that they'll actually use it. And there's other features that, maybe there's a mobile app so that my sales team can use the application while they're on the go. And so that removes another obstacle to my success. And with each thing that you add to that offer that improves the likelihood that they're going to get the outcome they want, the more valuable the offer appears to be.
Absolutely. And in the more complex the sale, it's more of those, it's less about features. It's more about those things that we're using to augment, all right, where there's really a deliverable that helps them achieve that outcome.
Definitely. But this kind of gets to the underlying point, which is that most people forget to, if they remember to make an offer, they forget to explain what's included in the offer. And then they forget to message all the reasons that the offer is going to be successful. So they think that they've accomplished the persuasion goal as soon as they persuade people that they need the product. But that's just the starting point. Often when you see in a direct response sales letter or an infomercial or something like that, almost half of the time messaging the entire pitch is spent on the offer. And the reason is because there are so many questions that people have about your offer that you often don't think about. And addressing those questions get them to the finishing line much faster.
And being able to think about, when you're putting your offer together, being able to think about what those objections are going to be, what's going to cause that prospect to be like, this all sounds great, but, right? And everything that comes after that but, we need to address in our offer, explain it, share it, and help take that away to improve the likelihood of them reaching the dream outcome.
That's right. And the reason you want to do that in your offer messaging is because that's the least defensive place you can put those attributes of your offer to persuade your customer, right? If you've walked through your pitch and you've persuaded them that they need what you sell, there's always going to be these latent objections. And when you can answer those objections implicitly, not saying you're probably wondering if XYZ, and here's our answer to that objection. That comes off defensive. It comes off weak. If instead you could say, and you get this, and here's another thing, and you get this, so that there's no problems in implementing, and we're going to include a mobile app for you free of charge, so that all of your employees can use it whenever they need to, and they can do it on the go or in their downtime. So that you get the results that you want, and they actually use the system. You're answering a whole bunch of objections, but you're not having to call out those objections or give additional validity to it. You're just adding strength to that offer. And as you know from years of delivering sales training, when you can approach the customer from a standpoint of strength, you give them confidence. They begin to relax into trusting what you're offering them, and they're much more likely to buy at that point.
I think there's when we talk about the infomercial, right? The Ron Popeil type infomercials, yes. Right? That kind of started that with television and things, but we deliver those in landing pages. We deliver them with videos. We deliver them in words, right?
Totally.
But the concept is that I think the important piece that you said is that latent objection. It's not being in defensive position. We're saying, and we do this, and we do that, and we allow the prospect in their mind to be like, oh, yeah, that's taken care of. Oh, yeah, that's taken care of, without that defensive position. And I think that's a really solid point that is important to do in our offers, because it just psychologically it makes it land easier with the prospect.
Yeah, one of the tricks to doing this well is often when you create your offer, you're holding a couple of things back that you can then throw on top to really close the sale. So if you think psychologically about what's happening when you're listening to a pitch, say you're persuaded that you need a particular solution, right? You need a dedicated microphone instead of the microphone on your laptop. And the pitch is explaining to you all the benefits of a dedicated microphone. And then you find out, but once you're like mostly persuaded there, you're at that point, you're kind of curious, well, what's the price? Now, the reason infomercials often hold the price back to the very end is they want to build additional value in that offer so that the customer is creating that picture of how they're going to get their dream outcome, and it's the product must be expensive, right? Because it's delivering a ton of value to them. And then when you find out the price, it's that what you were saying before. It's that 10 times less than they were thinking it could be. And by holding some of those details back, you can both address those objections that naturally form implicitly, but you can also build that impression of there being so much more value that the purchase becomes a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's building a little bit of tension, but the tension's positive because people are leaning in. They're not feeling pressured. They're not feeling like, oh, this is bad. They're leaning into this, and it's like I want to learn more. I want to see where this goes, and like they keep getting value added on top of it, and then boom, right? The price is perceived to be valuable and reasonable, and almost a no-brainer.
And you could do that the way infomercials do, right? By adding additional products or things like that to a bundle, and then the bundle feels valuable. But you can also do that in many more traditional sales settings just by adding additional messaging. We talked earlier about explaining additional features that you might not have been aware of before after you've introduced the offer or begun to ask for the sale. That's another way to do that. Now, we've been talking mostly about the expected value side of that equation. But the other part of Hormozi's equation, which I think is important to at least mention, is he says you have to discount the expected value by two things: how long it's going to take the customer to experience the benefit. Right. If you can deliver an outcome fast, it's going to be a lot more valuable than if the customer has to wait to experience that dream outcome. So I think the example he uses in the book is the exercise program that takes 6 months to cause you to lose weight, and the weight loss pill that causes you to lose 30 pounds in a month. The weight loss pill is going to deliver the outcome faster, at least that's what it claims. And then it's also going to require less effort from you. So, a product that requires a lot more effort from you to get the outcome is going to be less valuable than a product that delivers that outcome in a more effortless manner.
Yes. And it's showing them that they have to spend, they're in effect paying for speed, right, with this offer, and some people are happy to do that. But what really becomes important is the speed with less effort on their part, where they can do something like, oh, you're going to make it easy. In his book, you're going to make it easy for me to shop. You're going to make it easy to go make those decisions when I go out to eat. You're going to make it easy for me to live my life. Right. In my offers for like helping people change how they hire salespeople, it's like we're not requiring you to completely upset your apple cart. We're going to show you how this is done. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do this for you. And it's that and this, as you said. And they realize, oh, I don't have to do this. Oh, I only have to do the part that I really care about. Right, that final part of the interview, and making sure that they're a fit. Right, and you got to get them there. Right, you got to help them see that there's value in your offer. That I'm not getting the results I want, and so they lean into your offer, and then you keep adding this value as you add onto it. And so that's where urgency comes into an offer, is the time. Right?
Yeah.
I get that right? Hey, thanks for being part of Sales and Cigars. I wanted to share a new project that we just launched. I wrote a new book called Scale Your Sales. It's written for the CEO. It's a short, powerful book that explains the 7 critical mistakes that CEOs make with their sales organization. It provides actionable steps that you can take to fix those problems in your business today. And it might even help you get out of the sales seat yourself. So appreciate you listening to Sales and Cigars. You can find this book on Amazon or wherever you buy books. Thanks.
When you think about the value equation, time is a factor that you would discount the expected value from, both time and the effort that it takes you. But once you have a valuable offer, you often also need to incentivize your customer to take action right away. And this is something I learned from doing direct response marketing early in my career. What was drummed into my head from the beginning was you have to ask for the sale, and you have to convince them that they're going to fill out the order form and take it to the mailbox and put a stamp on it or put it in the returned envelope.
Right.
And they have to do it now, because if they don't walk into the mailbox right now, 95% of the time, the magic will dissipate and they'll never purchase what you had just convinced them that you want to purchase. So some of the ways that people add urgency is by limited time sales. Right. That's an obvious one. Living in Michigan, we both experienced Art Van, one of the larger furniture stores in the country. And their thing is they have a sale very frequently, so often that it's almost comedic. There's a President's Day sale, and then that's followed by it's almost Easter sale, and then it's followed by it's Easter sale. And, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not that much.
Not really.
But if you are thinking, I need to replace that sofa, and then you see an ad that says this weekend only, save 30% on sofas. Well, that's a pretty compelling offer, and it gets you to take action now. Another good example that I saw, there's this company down here that I had replaced my windows. And what they do is they do in-home sales. And when they come out and they give you an estimate, they offer a 20% discount for agreeing to the estimate right there. And if you don't agree right there, well, you still get a pretty good price. But that little nudge to say, okay, decide now and don't make up your mind takes, don't wait to make up your mind takes a lot of the hesitancy off the table, right? It rewards you for taking action immediately.
Yeah, and that has to be done from a sales perspective in the living room or at the dining room table, right? That has to be positioned and messaged well with a little nuance.
Definitely.
But the 30% this weekend to buy the couch you've been waiting for the last 6 months. All right, now I'm motivated to drive to the store to go, look at the couch. They don't tell you're going to have to wait 16 weeks to get the freaking couch, but that's
right.
a different story.
No, exactly. But your point is an important one. Urgency tactics can come off as if you're trying to strong arm the customer. And as soon as you leave that impression, you're going to turn off a vast majority of your market. So you want to do that deftly. Often it's just, often just a little bit of messaging that reminds them of the outcome that they want, and tells them that they should act now, while they're still thinking of it, so they don't forget, or so that they can begin experiencing the benefits that they want sooner, is enough to, remind people to, oh yeah, I really do want this, and I'm not going to get it until I actually pull the trigger and purchase whatever that product or service is.
In that sales situation with that offer, we bought some gutter guards, right? Leaf filter, I think, is the one we bought. And I had an objection at the end of it. It's like, look, I know you get 20% if I do it now, and you're only going to give me 15% later. I get all that, but here's my problem: it's freaking January, and you're going to seal up all these gutters. You told me, yeah, you did. That's what we're going to do. I'm like, the silicone's not going to set properly when it's 12 degrees out and snowing, right? And it doesn't. And he's like, we'll seal it. We're going to do it. And if it doesn't work, it's right here. We will come back until it works. Right. So I'm like, well, if you come back in the springtime when it's warm, that will solve the problem. And he's like, it's in writing. We will do it. All you do is call this number. Right. And that he handled that objection. Right. Because it's part of their process, because somebody figured out we want to do these all year round, but silicone isn't gonna gel properly in 12-degree weather in Michigan. So that's part of it. I think there's one other thing that we should cover, and that is in the book that I think business owners, the audience, really needs to understand this. Is making enough offers. And can you give us the context around that? Because I think that's important.
Yeah, certainly. So when you're creating a marketing plan, your obvious focus is on trying to sell your primary product or service, right? Because that's where most of the money is made. But the more complex your sales process, the more important it is to have different ways for the customer to engage with you, because the purchasing cycle takes a longer time. They take more time to make up their mind. They have more questions, more objections they have to overcome, and things like that. And so when, I talked about this as, in terms of problem language of not making enough offers, but the solution is really to find ways to give your customer to engage short of making the sale. So if you think of the typical landing page for a website, you've run some ads that grab their attention, and once you've grabbed their attention, they come to this landing page, they read about your product, they're interested, but they're not ready to buy right now. What else can you offer them that gives them opportunities to learn more about the product, maybe overcome some of their objections, that can deliver value to them, that will improve their confidence that you can actually deliver the dream outcome that you're promising, those kinds of things. And what's often important there is doing that in a way that allows you to collect contact information, where you start to understand who your prospect is and can then communicate with them through low-cost channels like email in the future. And it's often, I've seen this time and again with clients that when we're able to add a really effective email sequence and a secondary call to action like an informational booklet or brochure to their offer, give them an intermediate offer that allows them to engage the customer, that they can often, increase their sales by 30%, 50%, even 100%, just because they're able to stay engaged with that customer over the entire length of the decision cycle.
So those additional offers, or as you talk about enough offers, those additional offers allow us to engage with that prospect at some level, especially if we have a high ticket item that we're trying to bring them into. We give them something that is less expensive, but brings them in. We collect some data. We get them in. They get a taste of what, oh, wow, they're over delivering. They're giving us a lot of value here for almost nothing. Maybe I should keep listening. And then you make these additional offers that are slowly maybe ticking up in value and in cost. And this is adding income and revenue to help your advertising budgets keep going, because your cost of your lead gen is dropping.
It works really well when you can actually charge for those intermediate offers. So take myself, for example. I sell fairly high-priced marketing and strategy services that many of my potential clients, some of the people who would be my best clients, don't know to even shop for, because they've never encountered someone who can solve their marketing problems the way I do. And so if I were to run ads and describe my service, and it's a pretty compelling offer, there's, a lot of different features in terms of how facilitation, really reduces the effort that's involved, allows you to get a marketing strategy faster. Instead of a 3 or 4 month process, it's a, 3 or 4 week process, or even faster than that in many cases. My core offer has a lot of the things that would make that offer valuable, and it's often a third or less than what people would expect to spend with a normal ad agency to get a better outcome. But that's not enough, because the customer doesn't trust me yet. They have no reason to trust me if they just see me with an online ad. So my answer to that was to write the book that we've been talking about, First Fix Your Message. And so the very first step for me to engage people is with an ad that talks about their marketing problems and says, hey, if you have this problem, you really ought to read this book. And then the next step is they go to a landing page, and that landing page has a sales letter that gives a very long and involved pitch for why this book is going to be really valuable and is the solution they need. And they can purchase the book then for just $7 online. And that is, that makes an initial sale. And then once I've made that sale, I have some additional offers. And the goal of those offers is what they call to self-liquidate. I want the cost of the book that they purchase, and, the percentage of them that purchase one of the lower cost, high value products after they purchase the book, to cover my cost of advertising pretty quickly. And if I can do that, when I can do that, then I can grow my audience without having to commit the tens of thousands of dollars in capital that it would normally take before you have a large enough audience to then to sell the higher value strategy services. So that's a really efficient way to make your advertising pay for itself.
Yeah, and that flow. So I think the mistakes that we covered was that people don't have an offer, that they have an offer that's poorly done, weak, and is too low of a value for what they're really offering. They're not creating this certain level of urgency, and that we're not having enough offers to continually keep these people engaged and to bring them along, especially for our high ticket listeners. And then let's talk a little bit, land on this idea of a call to action and getting people to do something. Is that something else you see as a challenge?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
offers?
I think in the book I classified that under just not making an offer. When we talk about the clients that I've seen where I can look at their marketing assets and it's like, well, the reason you're not having a problem is you never asked for a sale. That is, that's often one of those problems. But I also think that you maybe I'll describe it this way. The other kind of the other side of that coin is that people often don't make the offer frequently enough. So if you think about the normal homepage, you'll often see a buy button in the hero section, and then you'll see a buy button on the bottom of the page. And I've had a number of clients where if you just put a button for them to click after each section of the website to say, hey, if you're ready to buy, you can buy right now or take action today, that alone, just adding extra buttons, even though your designer is going to tell you it's ugly, is a way to dramatically increase the conversion rates on your web pages. I've had some web pages where adding a few more buy buttons has increased conversion rates 20, 30, 40%. And that's because you're giving them an opportunity to buy the moment they're convinced. That's also a way to put it into sales parlance, not to keep talking past the sale, right? If you think you've convinced them, allow them to buy.
And when we have it on a web page or a landing page or some kind of a sales letter, we don't know when that happens in their mind. So we can't do it every 3 sentences, but to have that there after each section gives them that ability. And I was just at a conference where we had an email marketer whose company does a lot of emailing and supporting companies and creating engagement. And one of the things he said about those buttons is exactly what you said. We should have them more frequently, but they also can have 4 or 5 words.
Yes.
They can be a partial sentence. They don't have to be exactly buy now. It can be different words for the different sections, and we can make those words as whatever we want because we can make the button whatever we want. So that ties directly to what you're talking about, and we're giving them the opportunity to make the buy.
Right. And one piece of advice I've seen designers often give that in many cases I disagree with is to use the same verbiage on the button every time. And when you can phrase your call to action in terms of what they just read, the thing that drew their interest in the first place, and that would vary section by section, it often makes it more natural and feel less like you're strong arming them. It makes it more natural for them to click that button and actually go ahead and buy. One thing before we wrap up, and I know we're getting to the end of our time here, I just want to clean up something we talked about in terms of those secondary call to actions. While we talked about the benefit of having some ancillary products or services like the book that I described that you can charge money for, and that being valuable because it will pay for the cost of your advertising, ideally. It doesn't always have to be something you charge for. And in fact, many cases, it's more effective to give away something that is a high perceived value, like a book or like an audit or a checklist or something like that. And the reason being that it's a lot easier to convince someone to get something for free than it is to charge for it. And so the amount of money that you save on having to run additional ads to get them to actually follow through and purchase and download the lead magnet, for example, just by making it free is another way that you can play with the cost of your advertising and deliver value to your customer and make sure that you collect that email address so that you can follow up with them until they buy.
Thanks for watching another episode of Sales and Cigars. I'm looking for guests. I'm looking for really good guests who have an interesting story to tell, their entrepreneurial journey. They want to talk about something that's going great in their organization. I'm really interested in speaking to business owners and CEOs. The other type of guest I'm looking for is somebody who's got a passion for cigars, and we can do a short episode about pairing about a new cigar they discovered, about something around their passion of cigars. So if one of those things fits you, or you know somebody, or want to make a recommendation, shoot me an email, ping me on LinkedIn. I'd love to get some guests from the audience. Appreciate it. Thanks.